So why are some of the notes on the standard keyboard black? Well, partly because if they were all white, you'd never find your way about, but also because of something we call the musical scale. If we just play all the notes, it doesn't sound very good. For some reason, it sounds better if you miss some of them out. And it's been discovered that for reasons partly mathematical and partly strange and unfathomable, the sequence of notes that sounds best to the human ear is the one that you get by starting on any note, going up 2 notes, then 2 notes, then 1, then 2, then 2, then 2, then 1. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. And if I play that again, you'll recognise it. You'll have heard that before. That is the standard major scale. This 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1 sequence just seems to sound right. So that's the major scale. Most simple tunes use just these notes. The white notes on the piano are a major scale. That's why there's no black notes between these two and these two, because there are the jumps of 1. We go 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. It's important to realise that all the notes on the piano are the same. There's no difference between the black and white notes. If we play all the notes in order, they're all the same. The gap between any note and the note that's twice the frequency is called an octave because of the 8 notes in the scale, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 7 different notes, but whenever we play a scale, we play the first note of the next scale as well, as in do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The octave is fundamental to the whole way music is set up. A note and its octave are so closely related, one being exactly twice the frequency of the other, that we can think of them as the same. If I play the first phrase of God Save the Queen using 2 notes an octave apart, it sounds fine. If I use almost any other note, it doesn't work. It might sound interesting, but it doesn't sound the same. Right up here. And because a note and its octaves are effectively the same, whatever we learn about one octave will apply to all the others. Naming the notes, for example. We need to name the 12 notes, but we only need to name 1 octave's worth, or the 12 notes, because all the rest will be the same. So how are they named? We could just call them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, up to L, but like the keyboard with no black notes, this would be hard to use. So the naming is based around the major scale, and the 7 notes are called A, B, C, D, E, F, G. However, just to make things slightly more confusing, they don't start with A but with C. A note was chosen and named C, and the notes in its major scale were then named C, D, E, F, G, A, B. This is called the scale of C, and it is the main scale around which the rest of music is built. The white notes on the piano, as you see, are the scale of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So what about the black notes? We need to give them names too. In order to do that, we have to introduce 2 new terms. Sharp, which means 1 note higher, as in 1 note higher, or it can mean a note that is slightly higher than it should be. And flat, which means 1 note lower, or slightly too low. So the black note between, that's C and that's D, the black note between them is called C sharp. Of course it could be called D flat, and in fact all the black notes have 2 possible names. The names we use, for reasons I won't go into yet, are C sharp, E flat, F sharp, A flat, B flat. So all the 12 notes are called C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B. The next note obviously is the one that's twice the frequency of the first C, one octave higher, and we also call it C. And in fact, the notes in the next octave have the same names. The sequence C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B just carries on repeating over and over. C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G. Like this bottom note of the three black notes is F sharp, and it's always F sharp. Whenever you see these three black notes, the bottom one of them is F sharp. And the D is always the one between the two black notes. They're all D. This is a very handy thing. There are 96 notes on a grand piano. It would be impossible to deal with if it wasn't for the fact that they divide up nicely into 8 sets of 12. Set of 12, set of 12, set of 12, set of 12. Once you understand one octave, you understand them all. What that really means is understanding scales and all the fun things you can do with them.